Hello and welcome to CKE 10,001's gaming channel. In this video, we're looking at my JoJo, Jotaro, and Silver Platinum finisher deck profile. It's a primarily blue-red deck with some yellow tech. It uses the Jolene level 1 combo into the Jotaro level 3 finisher combo. So we'll just start by looking at the level 0s. I'm running 3 copies of Believer of Dio, Jungalier. It's a 3500 clock. When an opponent character gets reversed, it kind of clock kicks it, and it has, you can't play events or backup from your hand. Then 3 copies of the 2-disc PS. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can choose one of your opponent's characters and up to 1 trait of that character. Put all markers from underneath that character into your opponent's waiting room, and that character loses all of that trait until end of turn. And it has a second effect, which is the Rico effect. On play, discard, reveal top, salvage a character that's level of the level that was revealed. So level X. So 3 of those. 3 copies of Limitless Fighting Spirit Jolene. On play, you can pay 1, put a card from your hand into your clock so you can color fix if you need it. And then you look at top 6 cards from the top of your deck and choose 2 stand user or stand characters from them. Reveal them to your opponent, put in your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. 1 copy of Will to Fight Jolene, which is your climax swapper. 3 copies of the Jolene Brainstormer. It salvages to save her father Jolene and SO. Has a auto experience effect at the beginning of the climax phase. If the total level of your cards in your level is 3 or higher, you can choose 1 character and that character gets plus 1000 power until turn. 2 copies of Aura Rush Jotaro and Silver Platinum, or sorry, Star Platinum. So that's 2 copies of that. It has an on-play effect, reveal top card. If it's a stand user or stand character, it gets 2000 power. And it has a second act effect where you can pay 1, put this card in your waiting room to salvage a Star of Hope Jotaro and Star Platinum in your waiting room. And 2 copies of Veteran of Battle Joseph. It's on the turn it's placed. You can pay 1, discard 2 cards, and insert your deck for 2 stand user or stand characters. Or I think Hamon too, so maybe future proofing. And 1 copy of All Consuming Flame Abdul. Has 2 on play effects. The first is on play, you can pay 1, discard a card, then look at top 3 to grab any card. Then the second effect is discard a stand or stand user character to draw a card. And then 1 copy of Untrusted Hope Emporio. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can put 1 card from your hand into your waiting room. If you do, choose this card and 1 of your other characters and put them into your memory. Then at the beginning of your next draw phase, put those cards from memory in separate positions of your stage. And it has Act Rest this card. If you have another character with experience, you can choose 1 card in your level and 1 card in your waiting room and exchange them. Running 2 copies of True Intelligence FF. When this card attacks, all your characters get the following ability until end of turn. When this card trigger checks reveals a climax, you can discard a climax from your hand. If you do, choose a character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. And it has an experience effect. When this card attacks, if the total level of cards in your level is 2 or higher, choose 1 of your other characters, and that character gets plus 1000 power until end of turn. Running 1 copy of the Weakness He Loves, Anastasia. During your turn, if the total level of cards in your level is 2 or higher, this card gets plus 2000, and the following ability, when this card attacks, if the character facing this is level 2, this card gets plus 6000 power, and has a auto effect. When this card is placed on stage, you can rest 1 of your other characters. If you do, choose 1 card in your level and 1 card in your waiting room and exchange them. So, if you're in a standby heavy meta, you can run more of these. If you're not, you can probably run more of these. Up to you for the ratios. For the level 1 combo, I'm running Spiritual Growth Jolene. This card gets 500 power for each of your other stand user or stand characters in your backstage, and has an experience effect, climax combo. When this card attacks, if resolve to move forward is in your climax area and the total level of cards in your level is 2 or higher, look at top 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 character from among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, put the rest in your waiting room. If the character chosen is level 3 or higher, you can draw and then discard. So I know some a lot of other deck builds are running the Polar F level 1 combo. You know, I think it's on reverse, discard a card, double tutor, and it combos with the door. But the reason, and then that helps you set up for your low 3 pretty easily. But the reason I'm not running that is I wanted the deck to have more deck speed, which the Jolene combo serves. And in regards to, you know, double searching, if you don't have, you know, all the copies of this in hand that you need, you can always use your level 0 Joseph to you know, on attack, pay 1, pitch 2, search out the 2 copies that you need or whatever you're remaining, and this can always help you salvage a copy of this if it's in the waiting room. So you can search for this to grab this, and your level 3 finishing turn doesn't require a lot of stock. It just needs to be able to play pay 2 stock to play a copy of this, really. So stock's not really an issue with the deck, but you know, knowing how to pilot and preserving hand size to be able to go for your finisher turn is kind of what you need to kind of practice when playing this deck. And here are the backups. 1 copy of Bring It On Jolene. It's an early play punish backup. I don't really use this, so I might be thinking about taking it out of the deck, but it's also good to have in your deck just as a threat. Because usually if you have to yeah, so that's that. And then this is a 3K memory backup, just one of. And then Arriving in Egypt, Jotaro. When the card is placed on stage from your hand, choose up to 2 of your characters, and those characters get the following ability until end of turn. When this card becomes reversed, if the level of this card's battle point is higher than your opponent's level, you may reverse that character. So this essentially makes 2 things into level bombers itself and something else if you want. And then 1 copy of Miraculous Meeting, Anastasia and Jolene. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may perform the following effect. Your opponent chooses 1 climax in their waiting room. Return all cards except that card from their waiting room into their deck and shovels. And then second effect, when this card is placed on stage, you can discard a card. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 1 or higher characters, and your opponent chooses 1 level X or lower character in your waiting room and exchanges them. X equals to the level of the character chosen -1. 3 copies of Unyielding Battle Weather Forecast. If you have 4 more stand or stand user characters, this gets -1 level while in your hand. This card gets 500 power for each of their stand user or stand character. Has auto experience when this card is placed on stage from your hand. If the total level of cards in your level is 6 or higher, you can draw 2 cards, choose 1 card in your hand, and put it into the stock. So it's a 1 cost level 3 early play drop that replaces itself. It's pretty good. Then 2 copies of Nightly Spirit Polar F. If you have 2 or more less client, if your waiting room has 2 or less client cards, this gets an early play condition, -1 level in hand. If you do not have another stand or stand user character, this card cannot stand. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may choose 1 stand or stand user character in your clock and put it at the bottom of your deck. So it heals the bottom. It's also 11k power. And then I have 1 copy of Rebelling Trish. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, draw up to 1 card, choose 1 of your opponent's characters, and that character gets the following ability until end of turn. When during this card battle, you cannot play backup or event from hand. And when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 2 extra stock. If you do, choose 2 cards in your opponent's waiting room, return them to your opponent's deck, and your opponent shuffles his or her deck. So yeah, stock is not really a concern for this deck at level 3, so you know, any effects that you can use stock on early on or later on doesn't really have an impact. Again, maintaining card advantage is kind of important for this deck. I have 2 copies of Aerial Hunter Narancha. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, put the top 5 cards of your deck into your waiting room, deal X damage to your opponent. X equals the number of climaxes amongst those cards. It has a second effect where you pay 1, choose 1 character in your opponent's center stage, and that character gets -1,000 power until a turn. And then, you know, if you have enough cards in hand, usually if you're playing it conservatively, you might have 1 extra card. That's when you can play the Narancha to do an extra burn, because when you play the Jotaro finisher, it has to be alone on the front row. So you can't have 3 characters. You can only attack with 1 character. So what we can do is play this, get its burn effect during the main phase, play this, sack the Narancha to heal your clock damage into your stock, and then you can attack with this. So essentially it gets you an attack during the main phase, which gets around the downside of the Jotaro finisher. And then for the Star of Hope Jotaro and Star Platinum, when this card is placed onto the stage from your hand, you can put one other stand user or stand character from your stage into the waiting room. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. And climax combo at the beginning of your attack phase, if Destiny of the Joestar family is in your climax area and you do not have another character in your center stage, this card gets plus 11,000 power and the following ability until end of turn. At the end of this card's attack, you can pay the cost, which is put 2 Star of Hope Jotaro Star Platinum from your hand into your waiting room and 4 other cards into the waiting room. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent 7 times and then deal 7 to your opponent. So, the Aurora finisher. And then the last 8 cards are the Climax cards. The Resolve to Move Forward, which is for your low 1 combo, and the Door Climax, which is for your Destiny of the Joestar family, which is your low 3 combo. Alright, try messing it with different ratios to however you like to pilot it. Get comfortable with it, and yeah, have fun. Alright, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.